we are, up to the shenanigans here. It's already started. We started already 10 minutes into the conversation. I almost said show. I don't even know what's going on right now. Like, I feel like there's like no download and it's been returned. It's like, I can't.
To send.
No. Because of me. What can I say?
I'm just so fluttered. You guys, welcome to another episode of Gathering of the Shadows. And yeah, we are here with the lovely Ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. And
Hello,
we are
and
also here with Miss Messy Jessy because
I'm messy. Everything's messy in my life right now.
she's the bestie.
Okay. Anyway.
And we have a guest. We do have a guest.
Yes, we do.
We have a guest.
I am
Who's
so
our guest,
excited.
Jess?
I am so like ecstatic to introduce our wonderful, beautiful ashwagandha Sheena.
I knew it. I knew it.
That's so random and weird podcast. I had the honor to be on her podcast.
One of our first episodes.
Yeah, and it was so much fun. Like, you guys are doing amazing. So yeah, we'll do the show link and she'll tell you how to find them both towards the end of this episode. Yeah, so what the heck is going on with the universe right now? Like, Mercury retrograde is in Jupiter and all these other signs are gaining. And here am I. Oh my gosh, speaking of my sign. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I have to tell a story. I'm sorry. Last week I had my better half decided to be nice and get me Starbucks.
Oh.
And I was like panic. Like, I have this thing, like I look on the menu and I cannot decide what I want. And I'm like sitting, I'm like this, and he's looming over me and I'm like, what do I want? So I have this thing with orange cream. I don't know why. It just reminds me of my childhood. Like, you know, those little scoopy things with the wood spoon,
Mm-hmm.
and you used to eat them when okay, this was back in the 1800s, but that's that's how I feel. But you guys, two things. One, I remember using the spoon and it's like chalkboard on your teeth. It's like, so I was thinking that this is like reverted back to my childhood when I'm anyway. Popsicles.
Right.
I don't know why I'm so sensitive with things like that. It's dumb. And then, so I was like, okay, well, I'll get matcha or the green drink, right?
Yeah, matcha.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is good. I swear to God, I didn't even know what it was. I've never had it before. So they bring it and I'm like, oh, that looks refreshing. So, you know, put a straw in it and I went, and I'm like, tastes like orange cream grass. And I'm like, maybe I'll try that a little bit. Maybe I'm just like not used to it, right? So I took another sip and I went, all right. I ended up throwing it away.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think I am meant to graze on grass, even though my astrological sign says that's what I am. A cow in the middle of a field grazing on grass. No thanks. No thanks.
Even if it's
Matcha is not for the weak.
No,
Yeah.
just give me a steak. I'll be fine.
The fact that it's green is like a no-go for me. Sorry. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I love Starbucks.
Green
Don't get me
drinks.
wrong. I do. Like, I like the lavender drink and, you know, their coffees and stuff like that. But that no,
Not for you.
no,
Got it.
I'm not a grazer. Anyway, what are we talking about tonight? I think we have a special episode, and we are going to be a little bit into a deity. I almost said something else. God. And she's one of my favorite shadow work. What are we talking about, Sheena? This is kind of your favorite thing.
Yeah, one of the goddesses that I work with is Lilith, and I feel like there has been just such a huge resurgence with Lilith as well, you know, especially considering how much we as women have been losing a lot of rights to ourselves, and that Lilith is such a big proponent for being, you know, a woman. You're being yourself. You're in equal standing as a man instead of being, you know, to the side or behind.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna talk about Lilith specifically tonight.
Yeah,
That's our topic. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you work with other deities also?
I also feel very drawn to Hecate or Hecate, whatever your preference is, and also Freya as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Partly
Yeah.
because, you know, she has cats, but
We all gotta love the cats. I love all animals. I even like spiders, but not the
No hobos.
camel spiders or the hobos.
or banana spiders.
Mm.
Ah,
I like them outside.
that's why I won't go to Australia unless I am wearing like a beekeeper thing everywhere I go.
I think I would be in a bubble.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we digress though.
Yeah.
So just a few things. As a lot of people may know, she is Mesopotamian in a lot of origins, like Sumerian and Babylonian, where the Babylonian lore was like, they had the words called Lilitu, spirits who were night demons associated with storms and disease. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. You know, you had Lilitu, and also Lilith is being known as the mother of demons, depending on where you found your information.
Right. Yep.
And then also for a lot of centuries, I think it was Hebrew folk traditions would have amulets that were inscribed with the names of three angels, Sinoi, Sinoi, and I'm going to slaughter this one, which personally I don't get offended because of my last name. Everybody slaughters that. So
I can contest to that.
it is Samankoloth, which were used to protect newborns and mothers from Lilith, because they feared her as a demon. But what really is a demon? You know, it depends on what religion you're looking at, and also who is saying it as well. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it, you know, somebody in power that's saying what's good and what's bad?
Right.
Let's see. Lilith has really been, like I said, there's been a building up of women's rights and women's empowerment. And in the 70s, Lilith has been reinterpreted as a symbol of female anatomy and refusal to submit to the patriarchal control, which is a lot of the reason why I like working with her. And it was kind of funny. I make candles when I'm not broke, and I was working on making a candle for Lilith, and I actually one of this her scents that they use with her is sandalwood. So, and then also putting in rose and I think onyx and carnelian were all in this candle that I had put in that I was dedicating to her, carved in her symbol, and I was listening to the best band ever in this moment,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so excited for the new release. But I was listening to it, and I just felt so wrapped in with her while I was dancing and just feeling so great because I was trying out the candle. I wanted to know if it was something that she had liked, and because I was listening to in this moment, which is very much empowerment for women in and also reclaiming yourself after religion and becoming a witch as well. So I was listening to all of that, and I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was amazing to
Yeah.
feel that and to feel so empowered because that's something that I personally have struggled with as well. And so finding myself through her in that empowerment has been wonderful.
Yeah. I was going to go back to the history about Lilith now. When I was doing my studying, and I've always known this too, one thing that I have found fascinating so it's crazy. I've been practicing for a very long time, and I've never really started learning my shadow work until like maybe 5, 6 years ago. And when I started doing my shadow work and I did, research her, and I don't know if some of our listeners are aware, but she was actually Adam's first wife before Eve.
Mhm.
And she refused to bow down to him. And what, and I know probably a lot of people who are very, no disrespect to any religion, but um, I know that she was first wife. She refused to submit to him, and she chose to leave the Garden of Eden. And it's important to note that this story is not in
No.
any books,
No.
Yeah.
in religious books at all.
Very much so taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It comes from later folklore that was learned, later after the Testament was done and the Bible was done. And so over the centuries, Lilith was really been interpreted as many different ways. Like Sheena mentioned, she was a demon, a dangerous, demon associated with the night. She also had very modern spiritual practice, she was independent. She was feminine power, like Sheena said, and personal sovereignty and transformation. And I think that gives us who practice and want to do our shadow work, all of the ones that we do shadow work with, is we learn what our shadow is internally. I think and correct me if I'm wrong, Sheena, but when you said that she has helped you gain your confidence and all that, and I went through it myself, is confidence was a huge killer. And I think, what do you think? What do you think, Ginger? What do you?
I don't know. I think confidence is always a problem with all young women because of what society tries to put forth to us at a very young age as to what beautiful is, or what
Mhm.
what we are supposed to be like. And so I think Lilith is empowering. Like
Sorry, my cat locked herself in the cage. In the kennel, and she's
funny.
all.
Let me
Sorry.
out.
We're talking about Lilith. Let me out.
But that's exactly, let me out. That what Lilith kind of does for us, is kind of offers that to a lot of people. that it's okay to have that divine femininity and be self-assured in yourself and comfortable in yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And I started about my path about the same time with my shadow work because that Jess did, just because I had lost my father at that time. So, and I realized I needed to go in instead of be out. And so, definitely with the shadow work as well, is that, she is part of the things that get suppressed. Like she helps you accept your anger, you accept your sexuality, the ambition, and your refusal to be small, but also like rage. We're always told you don't rage against the machine. You don't get angry. And and it's seen rather sacred than shameful with as far as I see it with Lilith, is that you are allowed to feel your emotions, you are allowed to take your space, you reclaim who you are, and don't let anybody else do that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. Like we all have went through a really dark time in our lives, maybe more than others. Sometimes we feel that way.
Yeah.
I think again, these help us gain our strength, and people may think it's like, I don't want to devil worshiping or anything like that. It's not. We're trying to honor who we are inside, and she definitely brings that out in those who honor her. But, and I don't know if you guys know this, but sometimes some people will do things to gain her acceptance or gain her power. I think some people need to be careful with that, because she definitely will teach you lessons.
But yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But also there is in a way that she is, I feel, like motherly as well. In taking your hand and going, be that rage, be it, you're allowed to do it. Because
Right.
we have always looked to our mothers a lot of the time, especially us as women, or anybody who identifies as women. We have always looked to the females in our family for cues. And so for her to, like, when I had lit that candle and I was playing the music, it kind of felt like I was getting a hug.
Yeah.
And then she was there in spirit dancing with me as I was doing whatever movements I was.
That's cool.
Yeah. Waiting for
And
you,
I mean,
because I was going to say something, Ginger. I always talk over her, and I'm like, so I'm like
Is she
trying
talking?
to stay calm.
No, I'm good. I didn't have a question.
Okay. Go ahead, Sheena. Sorry. I was just like, because we sometimes talk over each other, and I'm trying to be better at that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
ADHD, believe me, I understand.
Yes, that.
Because I'm like, wait, before I forget what I say.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I can't even remember why I walked in the room, and I've done it 3 times. So
That's fair.
that's the old age.
Yeah, and the other thing that I really like is that, like, when you see how, like, with other deities, you did it to me, Jess.
You did. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Other
Perfect.
deities, that there's kind of the synchronicities between them, like Hecate and Lilith. I know I mentioned that I do work with Hecate as well. Is that they see themselves, or they put them as like the dark goddesses, where Hecate or Hecate as the crone or the guide, and Lilith is like the rebel, which is all I ever wanted to be my whole life, was the rebel. So that was something that I really enjoyed. And then also, Oddly enough, there's also a little bit of Lilith with Kali as well. You know, Kali being the Hindu goddess of destruction, but also necessary feminine forces. So
Yeah.
kind of a cool little intro or kind of mix together as well. I mean, that would be utter chaos, which is more Jess's style.
Obviously, because I feel like my fan's about ready to take off. I might get beheaded.
And I think the more you study and look at the different choices out there, you do see a lot of intermingling and Oh, we lost Jess.
Nope.
no,
Intertwining and
don't.
how they cross over, or they are so similar in how they support women, which I really appreciate, because you know, when you're trying to decide who you might be wanting to work with, even if you work with different ones at different times, because I think a lot of people do that, especially when you're like eclectic. It's nice to be able to be like, oh, well, this one does this and this one does this, and I can respect all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really judge you for that, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it is, especially because I grew up Mormon. So that was
I feel you, girl.
that was really interesting when I finally let go. I mean, I had the experience of already not living in the Mormon bubble until I was 13. So, like, my experiences were so different. And so I was exposed to a lot of stuff. And then finally, when I was able to make up my own mind, that I was like, oh, yeah, all those times I used to make potions in the mud puddles. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I guess with Lilith and the shadow work, when we work with her, we talked about, different things like the candles. And by the way, she makes amazing candles. I've had a few of them. And she really puts her love and and her practice into her candles, and she makes intentions for those that want the candles. So I really like how she does it. Anyway, back to Lilith. She definitely has, I don't know, like, so I talked about this before with a guest that we had. It was Ishmael the Gray.
Mm-hmm.
And he is very into Lilith. Like, he prays to her every day. Every night he lights candles for her. He lights candles for everybody. And I think it depends on how you feel comfortable practicing. There is no wrong way or right way of doing it, just as long as you're doing what appease Lilith. So you can't, if you feel obligated to make sure everything's right on your altar, and for some of us, I'm poor and I can't afford a lot of things for my altar, but with that, it's I don't know, for me, I have practiced with her a little bit, and I definitely honor her, but it wasn't one that I really connected with like Sheena. um I, as a, and I will admit, I omit my faults. When I say, we talked about how she will definitely teach you a lesson if you don't, um, you just take it and run. Basically, she gives and you just take, right? Eventually, she's going to say, no, you have to do something for me. And in my lessons, because we all are learning, right? I definitely learned my lesson on a few things. And I think I know I can work with her, but she also frightens me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's normal for people who don't understand a lot about her. And I think that was my lesson, is like, no, you need to learn a little bit more about her before you really ask for things. So that's my lesson, I guess. I haven't, yeah. What do you guys think?
How do you feel about that, Sheena? Like, do you feel like that's happened with you?
Yeah, it definitely has happened with me. When I first moved over here, I was going through it. And I feel like even still now, I'm still kind of stagnant on it just
I'm
because.
still here. I have to let my cat out before she starts meowing.
You're good. You're good.
Uh,
Go ahead.
So when I first got here, I was too busy to do any kind of practice. And also I was like trying to save money because I haven't had a job in a while, and of course, $5 isn't what $5 was 3 years ago. So,
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
so, I all I had was some incense that I had made, and I went, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I have been slacking. And it was just simple me just talking to them, both her and Hecate, going, I am so sorry that I can't put more effort into what I'm doing. But I do acknowledge you. Feel free to smack me in the head with a 2x4 if you need to remind me, because I just, between having ADHD and trying to figure out my life, in a new state, let alone a town,
Yeah.
so I'm like, and I'm working towards being able to have a proper altar and to have all of the things that I'm like, I know I would like to put these up for that.
I don't I think a lot of people when they're learning practice, they do feel like they need a lot of things. And I'm not one of them. Like, I love crystals, and you can see I have the collection behind me, but also I feel like when you are honoring somebody, like, your intention is the most important thing that you're putting into whatever you're doing. And so, like, I don't think like it has to be an expensive process. It just needs to be from the heart.
Right.
So don't ever feel like you can't practice because you don't have an apple to put on your altar, or you don't have a bottle of expensive wine to put on the altar. That stuff is lovely if you're capable of it, but that doesn't mean they don't listen.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, they enjoyed my cinnamon sugar pretzel incense. So
There you
that's
go.
all I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she definitely, all of them really will humble us in a way. It's not that they're I guess I should retract a little bit, not teaching us a lesson. I think in a way they're teaching us what we need to change within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like what lesson are they trying to teach us?
Yeah.
I think, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Sheena. I think what they were teaching you is to gain confidence that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Well, not only that, but also to stop and take a minute.
Correct.
Exactly.
Which is, because we are always go, 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 go. And especially now, they're like, oh, you need to have 3 jobs and a side hustle.
Truth.
Yeah.
To survive.
For real. Like you walk out with $200 worth of groceries in one bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with shadow work with her, again, we talked about she has face our hidden fears, right? And maybe that's why I personally am scared of her, because I am not facing my fears. And I'm slowly working on that. I am slowly working on my fears. Suppressed emotions. I don't talk. I don't talk to people, but I've learned through the last few years that I'm starting to find my voice.
Mhm.
And I think that's the lesson that I'm learning. Healing from shame and rejection, trauma. We all in our lives, unfortunately, through our generation, we've had traumas. I think, we're latchkey kids. At least I am Generation X.
Yep.
I'm a Zennial.
Yeah, but
I have the crossover.
Yeah. But I mean, we all have had our trauma, even now in the world where there's a lot of trauma going on everywhere. And then setting our boundaries. That's
Don't
look at me like that, Ginger. Don't even.
Girl.
Listen. Don't even. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe that's what I was here to remind you, to be like, hello.
You have boundaries and you should set them.
Yeah. And so that's really hard. Like, that's a hard thing. And embracing ourselves, like Sheena mentioned, and exploring our shadow self. Yeah. And I do love working shadow. I think I want to try and give Lilith more of a chance. But for me right now, I am working with the Morgane. She brings me my crows. She definitely has also gained my shadow work. Like I'm very connected with her right now, but I like Hecate as well. I think they all really have their unique, beautiful qualities as a goddess. We just have to kind of think, okay, how does this resonate? How does this resonate with us? Right.
Right. So I do think that through different times of your life, you're going to resonate with something different.
Yeah.
Ways,
yeah.
Depending on what you're going through.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had a question too. What do you guys think as a misconception associated with Lilith, with darkness or evil? And how do you respond to that when somebody says, oh, you're working with Lilith, she's a demon? Like, how do you respond to that, Sheena?
Yeah.
So for me, I see it a lot of whose point of view is it that you're taking it from?
Right.
Because the thing is like the story of Medusa. All right, you can take it the way that you've learned that she was punished because she was raped, and then Athena punished her because she's no longer a virgin serving in her thing. But you can also look at it as another way, is that Medusa was given this ability to actually fend for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that any man who thinks that he can just come and kill her or try to just see her, she can, poof, you're gone. And so in that way, I always try to see anything through that lens, depending on who and what it is. And so that's what my response is. It's just, what lens are you looking through? Are you looking through just a Christian lens? Are you just looking through a Jewish lens? Are you looking just from pop culture lens? Because you see a TV show and they're like, oh, Lilith, and and then they're like, dun dun dun, and you're like, no.
I think it's a lot of control for some religious aspects as well. Again, gaining control of what women should believe in and do. And it is addressed, if we all, like, I have read the Bible, maybe not back to back, page to page, but I have had experience in my past religious life that and still, like, I do have my own beliefs, but I think a lot of it is control. I think a lot of it is control. And we talked about the Scottish witch trials just this last episode, and there's a whole path here, control, and
Right.
that's what it is.
And the funny thing is too is that King James has been found to also possibly have been a lover of men. So,
I mean,
so,
the hidden truths.
Yeah,
right?
You know.
So,
he was not a
that's
great
something that
king
we have to
anyway, so
true.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
if you think about it, who did they all convene? Men to talk about a book that Jesus, he talked to women first before he went to men.
Yeah.
yep.
Some of his closest people were women
Yeah,
that he
Mary.
spent his time with.
very,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. It's just interesting how people, and rightly so, everybody has a right to their opinion and how they view things, but I think we all need to really stop and listen, like honor. And I don't see that anymore. And I think a lot of people now, with a lot of podcasts about witchcraft and all that stuff, they're finally starting to kind of come out. I think it's kind of like, I think the last few years it's really bloomed.
Right.
And now people are getting a little bit more interested in the craft and why we do it. I think it's just, I think it's something that we've done for many, many centuries. And then when the Bible came along, it was, we need to cut that. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It was kind of like, I feel like lately in the last 20 years, we've seen a lot more knowledge being expounded upon. And so that's why you see like a lot of churches and stuff, they're like, oh, our numbers are dwindling, even though they'll go into church and be like, our numbers are great. It's because,
great.
but like, we have access to the internet. We have access to more knowledge. We have access to more countries. And so, of course, and then there's also like that deep down, like in your DNA kind of knowledge that that you're like, this is me. This is who I am. This is what resonates with me. And this feels so good to be in this skin. So
I think she's had like, how can I word this? I think she's been here the whole time. It's finally like people who practice and like us that want to get the word out. Like it's and we also have to think too, like every different religion, like voodoo, hoodoo, all of them, they have their own gods and goddesses. But if we really think about it, and maybe I could be wrong, we all have the same, they're just named differently. Right?
And that, I think that's maybe what I was talking about, how a lot of the gods and goddesses, or goddesses specifically, will kind of intermingle in their gifts, their abilities, what they do, what and I think that's possibly why I think a lot of different cultures and a lot of different areas and different places in the world developed their own creation of whatever was, and they gave it their own name. And I think that's how a lot of things were brought to light, because different languages, different beliefs. And so it makes sense that we would have similar goddesses that we might be interested in that are very similar with different names, because we weren't all together. We couldn't talk about it. We couldn't discuss it. We couldn't, be like, oh, well, this one looks a lot like that one, So I think that's an interesting way to look at it, is like, maybe that's wise, because everybody was so divided.
Yeah, I agree. So Sheena, did you you talked about offerings a little bit, like the candle. What else did you use in your practice to gain Lilith's respect?
That has mostly been it, because it's something that I have handmade.
Yeah.
And so I have put my intentions in it, and I have put my feelings into it, and I have put my work into it as well. Same goes for the incense. I made the incense. So, for me personally, because of who I am as a person myself, I am a very acts of service person. Like I like
Mhm.
to do things for other people. So, or maybe it's just I'm a people pleaser, but you know, for
Yeah.
me, that's that's what I enjoy doing. And so like if I find something along the way, also, then I'll bring that and it'll be part of my altar because I'm very sensitive to items. I don't like going into like antique stores because there's too much energy.
Yeah.
And I've felt some real nasty stuff that I was just like, please let me go.
Yeah. So we talk about the altar on the offerings, and these are just a few that I've researched a little bit. Where you offered a candle, there's red wine, and it doesn't have to be the most expensive wine in the whole entire world. You could just offer Saint Chappelle's if you must, like in the box. Should be happy
Yeah.
with it.
Box of red wine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, pomegranate or pomegranate juice, dark chocolate, honey. I have offered her honey and apples. There's also like artwork, music. There's special music that you could use to dance. It's whatever you feel connected with. I mean, time with meditation and self-reflection and shadow work. Meditation is really huge. I have been better about meditating, so I've been, working on that because we all get busy. And, just for me, especially, it's hard for me to meditate just because of different, I have to try to shut it off in order to do it. So working on that,
Yeah,
It's hard to do.
if I meditate, I fall asleep because if I turn off my brain, that's what happens.
Yeah. It's crazy. And so yeah, there's just a lot of other things: incense, candles, black and white candles, or not black and I'm sorry, black and white, red and white candles, a statue or artwork representing Lilith. She loves obsidian. She loves black tourmaline, garnet, moonstone. I love moonstone.
Girl after my own heart.
Yeah. Moonstone has always been a connected thing for me. I believe Hecate also does a little bit of moonstone as well, and different other ones. And I'll talk about her in another episode because I really like to dig into all of these different gods and goddesses. Roses, especially red jasmine, is one of my favorite smells. So it's kind of crazy how I like moonstone. Jasmine's one of my thing. I love red and black. So to me, I think, oh God, I just got goosebumps, you guys. She's calling.
Mhm.
Owl feathers. I have many owl feathers, and I have owls that we would go walk in the cemetery, and there is owls there. And it's funny because my little spicy redhead likes to call them hooters.
I do like my hooters.
Yeah, the moon symbol, especially associated with the dark or the new moon. That is one of the very important times to really do a candle, or light a candle in her honor and offer those things to her. Dragon's blood, myrrh, sandalwood, I always call it patchouli, but patchouli. Let me call it cinnamon. Patchouli. Cinnamon and aluminum. And of course jasmine. So those are some of the altar items. Do you have to have every single thing? No. If you do, cool. You must have this huge altar. I'm working on it. So that's next year's project.
You're funny.
Yeah. So there's just all kinds of things. So here's another question for you guys. when we talk about Lilith and the imagery of her and what she looks like, also she's very associated, kind of backtrack there, with intimacy and sexual being and all that. So she is very huge in that. And I think I've heard she's part of also blood magic as well, as part of that ritual of people who use that part of things, you know. So yeah, that's not that I've heard that. So any listeners, watchers can let us know if that's, but I've heard that. So anyway, so we talk about her imagery and what she looks like. When you think of Lilith, how do you first know that she's reaching out to you? Obviously, I just had a moment. And did she come through to you guys in dreams, meditation, visions, or another experience? Sheena.
Well, for me, in my mind's eye, she is a gorgeous redhead. So,
Interesting.
Ginger, calm down. You would make a good Lilith for Halloween. No joke.
I'm on that.
But for me, I get goosebumps as well. I have aphasia, so like I don't really like see things in my head. I have really vivid dreams, but nothing that I ever really remember.
Mhm.
So very rarely do I have something that I remember, and it's usually something very poignant. But I haven't had her in my dreams. It has been when I have needed that backup, and then I throw on the music, I start jamming out, and
Right.
then it's just that feeling, because I do have clairsentience where I can feel things.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a lot that I feel it, like I feel it in my soul, I feel it in my heart, you know.
I have to agree with that because so me and Sheena met when we worked together for a certain place, and we got very close.
Hell.
And hell. I don't know. I wouldn't give it that much, credit.
Sorry, we worked with a hell beast.
Yeah. Anyway, I remember her coming and saying, "Shy's gonna hit the fan," and I'm like, "Huh?" And no sooner, an hour later, Shy's hit the fan. So, so I have to contest to that. But yeah.
Interesting. And I actually have not really worked with Lilith in particular, so we'll see.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. When I think of her, I don't know why, but I think she's a very beautiful woman. And obviously the classic, her horns and everything, but she has these eyes, and these eyes that just can see through your soul. And she also will know if you are meaningful and wanting her in your life. She'll reach out to you, but if you don't want to do the work, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
But I also, do you feel like her presence as well? And Gina, do you feel like she is, you said she's more of a motherly figure for you. I per se don't feel that with her, and maybe I'm just not ready for that yet. Because everybody kind of is like, hey, Lilith was Adam's first wife. There was no children. So some aspects people would be like, she's not a mother. Like she's not, but I validate what you're saying, because at the time that was how you associated with that. But Do you feel like she was also challenging, like, or very demanding, or very demanding for respect?
I don't find her demanding. I find her that she is, what's the words I'm looking for? I don't feel that she demands, but she does deserve it. She does deserve your attention and your respect. And if you are just going to waste your time, then yeah, of course, she's going to be like, peace out. You know, I'm
Or you're
not,
not
she's,
ready. Yeah.
yeah. And like, the thing is that, you know, like I said, I've been stagnant just because things have been going on. And so I
Mhm.
find her as being understanding that, you know, you have a life, you have to live. You're not going to be subservient to me every day, you know? And so, and the thing is too, is that even though women, not all women are mothers, we all in a way are able to be mothers
Right.
without having to give birth to children.
Mhm. Yep.
And
And
so that is,
and I agree with that. You know.
and so with that, you know, I find her to be a mother figure in the fact of teaching me, and in those moments where I finally allow myself to feel my feelings,
Mhm.
that she's like sitting there going, yeah, that's that's it. You know, keep doing that.
Like, it's
Because
about time.
exactly, exactly, like feel it. You don't have to hide it. Feel it, be it, embrace it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
use it for as long as you need to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. What do you think, Ginger? I know
You
you
know,
haven't worked with her, but
with her, like the image I have of her in my mind is like the horns, obviously, but also like this beautiful, uh, mature lady, but not old, maybe not crone like, but beautiful older woman with this long black hair. I don't know why, but Lilith to me has this long flowing black hair, and she's
yeah.
always got like these gowns, and she's just forever beautiful.
Yeah.
But this, and the piercing eyes, like you're right on that one right there.
Yeah.
She can see through you to your soul.
Yeah.
So
Do you feel, it's like another thing too? I was just thinking about it. We're talking about her. And I know she is all that represents, like, respect, like rebel. I'm not gonna bow down to any man. But let's take it back as maybe like as a human aspect to her. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Do you guys feel that before she's like, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not gonna bow down, do you think she was demanded to marry Adam? Or do you feel like they both were truly had feelings for each other, but he disappointed her because he wanted to control her,
I
and
don't.
that hurt her? Does that make sense? And so sometimes things, we take that into aspects of maybe our own lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we think, well, maybe this was a way for her to be who she is now as this beautiful goddess of, you know, what do you
Maybe
guys think?
Well,
maybe because of my Christian background, I get this image of like God standing over them in like the Garden of Eden and
Right.
being like, you
I do
will
too, in a
do
way.
what I tell you to do. And Adam says, you will do this. So you will do this because I'm the all powerful. And I don't know how anybody else would take that. I know personally, I would take that. Um, and I think that's probably how she was. Like, she's like, wait, why don't I get a voice? Why don't I get a choice? Why do I have to kneel? Why do I have
Yeah.
to do what you want me to do and I can't do what I want? I feel like she's more earthly, like motherly, like like of the planet, you know, like take care of the trees, take care of the animals. Let's, you know, let's make things work. Let's make things beautiful. Let's make this world amazing. And they were like, hold up, we're going to make these rules.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. And she was like, no, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. Well, didn't they associate, even though they associated the snake that went into the Garden of Eden and told Eve to eat the apple, and Lilith is associated with snakes. So in the Bible, they say that it was the devil.
Right.
But also I've heard outside of that, that some people thought that was Lilith.
Right.
Well, wouldn't that be great? Because she's here to, going, hey, guess what? Let's learn some stuff about yourself. You know, and
First
that's
of all,
the
let's
thing
have a
too.
snack.
Right. And since, they wanted to put Eve first as the first one to eat it, to be like, hey, girlfriend, let me clue you in on a few things,
First of all, he's not almighty.
I've seen better. But I feel that me also being a raging Scorpio.
Girl. Same.
That Scorpios in my life.
So for me, I don't like being told what to do. And
true.
so for me, it would be so hard for me to sit there with a straight face, the man telling me what I need to do.
Right?
Yeah.
No, this face is not going to deal with you telling me to do that. And if you don't like it, deuces.
Yeah.
Right? Peace out.
Yeah. So, for all those people that are just starting to develop their liking for Lilith and wanting to learn more about her, again, my rule of thumb is really research. I've learned my lesson on my own. Really research her, really understand where she comes from, even if that means you have to search through, the book and find out why she was taken out. There's so much information on Lilith out there. There's also TikToks, there's also YouTube videos. You can also go to Ishmael the Gray, or Reverend Ishmael, I should say.
Reverend, yes.
Diaz, he is very knowledgeable on Lilith as well, and you can go watch his stuff. There's a lot of understanding and there's a lot of information, but know that you guys need to learn to practice what you feel. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's what you feel, as long as you are doing what you feel. Does that make sense? We have to stop the gatekeeping, and I will always say that we have to stop. There is no all-powerful practice. I mean, there are some that know what they're doing, but we can't just sit there and tell a new practice person that's finally developing her skills and finally knowing her strength and who she is or he is, that you're doing it wrong. So I will always, that's my thing,
right,
is always do what you feel, what your intentions are. You're going to learn your own lessons and how to understand, no matter which one or who, deity or deities, I can't say it, that you want to. It can be a man, it could be, I'm not saying that there's not male, gods that people like, in the Viking religions, there's a lot of those, like Thor and all that. Loki, I love Loki because he was a jokester. He was, I like him. And there's a lot of things that I can learn from him. But yeah, so what advice would you give, Sheena, for all those new?
Well, basically, definitely research. I did a lot of research into everybody and anything because I'm Polish, so my main background is Polish. So, I did a lot of research into what they had. I didn't feel it. I did research into also, I'm part Scandinavian. So, I researched into that. And yeah, like Freya has been somebody that I have worked with. But do that research, because also it is really truly up to you on what you do, on how you work with them, because they are going to accept you for the work that you put in.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that you have to mean what you're doing. And and shadow work is some of the hardest things. It's therapy within therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
so you're not going, it's not going to be easy, especially working with Lilith, because you're dealing with your shadow. You're dealing with the self that you try to hide. And at least with Lilith, she's like, don't hide yourself with that. So you may have times that you're in the middle of doing something and you are going to be just bawling your eyes out because you're
I don't have
unlocking. But you're unlocking something within you. And like I said, any just small little thing. I prefer, because of who I am as a person, I prefer to give things that I make. So I don't go out and buy all the things that everybody else is like, oh, buy this oil and buy this. I'm like, no, I want to make something that's.
Oh, you're good with the whole beginners practicing.
Yeah. So I feel like when you know what's right, you're going to follow it. Like you have to go with your intuition. Like if you have your ancestors reaching out to you, you need to listen to them. Like your gifts, everybody's different. Everybody is. And like for me, I'm an empath. I feel everything. I'm a sensitive. So all of those things you have to take into account, like what you have inside of you. And I'm tired of telling other people how they should take care of themselves. It's right. So
and we're here to support. I mean, that's, again, we always say that every time. This is what our podcast is about. We're talking about support. We're talking about support for mediumship, for witchcraft, for paranormal groups, and anything in between. We all have to learn from each other.
Outside, all those things that hide in the shadow.
Exactly. Well, Sheena, where can we find you for your That's So Random and Weird podcast?
Yeah, So Random and Weird podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Apple, basically anywhere you listen to your podcast. We are on there. It's just a little bit of, I do a little bit of paranormal. We do a little bit of true crime, which actually my next episode for the week is going to be about Cassie Jo Stoddart.
Yeah.
So
that one's a hard one.
It is, but the thing is we don't deal on a lot of the gruesome. We try to keep that to a minimum because we want to honor the victims.
Exactly.
Of the story.
Yeah.
So but I mean, we also have a little new part called Oddities and Curiosities. So we could talk about things like the Hand of Glory and really weird, really random, and also through a total Xennial lens of kids who were born in the 80s and made it somehow through the 90s.
I don't remember the 80s and the 90s very well. Anyway.
That's valid.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us on this journey into the mystery and the teachings of what Lilith can offer to us. And whether you see her as a figure or an ancient folklore or a type of feminine strength and spiritual presence. And I just think that her story is awe-inspiring. I'd like to learn more about her, and even just talking about her, I'm just getting goosebumps. So I hear you. And so just remind us to that spirituality and practice is deeply personal. It's deeply personal, and our path is unique, like we've talked about. So thank you for watching tonight, guys, and listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who are interested in this type of topics. We'd love to have, and I want to say thank you for all our loves, likes, subscribes, shares, following us on TikTok, following us on Facebook. You can always find us there. Gathering of the Shadows podcast. And we also kind of want to send our prayers and love to all those people affected by the wildfires, especially up in Spokane. It has been terrible, as well as all around us, and as well as the tragedy and that happened in Twin Falls, Idaho yesterday with the shooting. And we just want to send our love and prayers to all those that were affected. So everybody just say some good, positive feelings and healing in the universe, because we definitely could use it now. So thanks, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.